And welcome to another hobby cheating video. And today we're going to talk about some bases. We're going to do some snow bases. There you go. So I wanted to talk about a pretty easy, cheap, fast way to make snow. And by cheap, I mean it should cost you about $0, which is always the way I like it. Snow is a really cool effect to me. I like having snow on some bases. And so these are going to be my little sort of Zinchi Woad themed beastmen, and I wanted them to be coming down as the winter melts into spring. And we've got some stunted plants. You can see I've kind of, we've got just a little bit of foliage on what's basically mud. Um, and so I wanted to spice up these bases a little bit because I look at them right now. There's a little bit of, you can see some like slight water effect on there for the sheen, some little stunted plants and such. But I wanted to make it a little more exciting than that. So I thought it'd be fun to do some snow bases. So to do snow on the cheap and to do what I think is a pretty good looking snow, we're going to do is we're going to start with some just regular old baking soda. So chances are you or your significant other have a bunch of this in the house. You don't need a lot of it. It generally comes in giant bags, pretty cheap. I just keep a small amount of it around. I'm actually going to mix it in this little thing right now today, just to kind of show you what's going on. So here's what I've got. And then the other thing we're going to use is just some good old-fashioned white glue. That's right, little Elmer's school glue. Usually this is about, I don't know, $1 or something for this massive thing. And then good old-fashioned water, just tap water. I'm almost out, but I've got plenty to do this. Just water, like the stuff you get out of your faucet. And that's all we're going to do. It's going to be those three. So we're going to start with about that much of the baking soda. And I'm just going to put a bunch of glue on top of it. There we go. I don't know how much, about that much. Okay. And then we're going to mix in some water. I know this is like bright white and it's freaking the camera out, so I apologize. Again, how much water? I don't know, about that much, enough to make it sort of fill. And then we're going to take our handy dandy sticks you saw me talk about in the first video, and we're just going to mix and mix and mix. And so one of the tricks with this is you've just got to mix the living bejeezers out of this. I think I put in a bit too much water, but here's the best part about this. You can't get it wrong. Okay? Just, you got to really stir it and mix it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just really mixing it, mixing it, mixing it. But here's the best part. If you end up like I did here, where it's like way too runny, it is way too runny. I'll show you the consistency we're going for at the end. Certainly not that. But if you do over liquidize it, as I just did, that's okay, because you can just grab more of your handy dandy baking soda, which I've got some more of here. And we're just going to dump that in. There we go. Probably too much. This can be a fun process of going back and forth. Way too much did I just add. All right, that's okay. That's the fun of doing this on camera, is I don't quite have the same amount of control I normally would have. That's all right. We're going to add, so you can see now we've gone back to a very thick stuff. We're just going to add a little water. We're going to add just a little more of the glue. And we're going to remix and just mix and mix and mix and mix. And there I think we've got it about right. It's kind of a little bit of like alchemy. You're really trying to like get it exactly right. So, and then we just mix and mix and mix. And you can see a big part of this is just stirring and stirring and stirring. Because you want to get all the powder mixed in with the liquid. You really want to get it well resolved. Couple quick notes when you're doing this. Always use a very clean container to mix this in. You don't want any foreign elements getting into your snow when you're doing this. If you have, don't ever do it in something that had paint or touch it with anything that had paint. It's white, it's liquidy, it will absorb that right away and become that color. Oh, there we go. Perfect. We got exactly the texture I wanted there. Okay. All right. So what texture is that? Let's see if we can get focus there. There we go. So you can see what it looks like. There it is. See how when I pick it up off my spatula? That's the texture I get. So it's about toothpaste is how I would describe it, right? There you go. You can kind of see exactly how thick that is. Like it mostly sticks on there. That's what we want, okay? That's the level of texturing we want. So I have way too much, but that's all right. You will often mix a little too much of this. Fortunately, who cares? It's basically free. All right, so I'm going to take a little dollop of this. I'm going to get, here's my base. And I'm going to kind of just dab a little bit on there and dab on the edge. I like to put it, where I think snow would collect, kind of on the edges of things, stuff like that. I'm going to dab a little bit over here on the opposite side of this little snow melt, this shiny feature I've got here. So we're just going to kind of do that. Then I'm going to kind of come over here and put another dollop there. Okay. So, and you can just keep adding a little bit. Make sure if you want to do a really wintry theme base, make sure you add a lot. If you just want a little bit of snow melt, don't add so much. And we could kind of stop there, and that would be fine. But we're going to go a little farther. We're going to take just an old crappy brush. That's what I've got here. Just some garbage brush that doesn't matter any. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of spread it there. Kind of dip in a little bit of the actual snow mixture. I'm just going to kind of, basically like we're dry brushing it. Okay? And what we're looking to do is just fan out the edges a little, kind of smooth it down, get rid of the big clumpy pieces, and spread out some snow over the rest of the base. Basically, it's exactly like dry brushing. We're looking to just catch the raised portions, right? With just a little bit of where the snow would have caught on, and there'd still be a little bit melting. And there you go. That's pretty much it right there. It's just that easy. Now that I'm going to let that set, that will dry, and when it dries, we will have snow. I'll do one more here for you. So there's base number one. Go back to the stick. Again, we're going to get a little dollop. And we're going to kind of spread it on. He's walking around the snow. You can kind of put it up against their feet or whatever. Now, in this case, I did this after the fig is on here. If you want to do it before the fig is on here, that can also be nice. If you know exactly where he's going to go, you can press their feet down in the snow, which is often a cool effect. In this case, I wanted them here and kind of walking around the snow. So I went for a slightly different thing. There we go. Seems like a nice little basis to start from. Again, let's go back to our brush. We're just going to get a little bit on the end of the brush down here in the glue, or in the mix, just because it makes it a little easier to spread. And then we're just going to very carefully just kind of drag it out from the thing. You're just barely touching it when you do this. Okay? And we just smooth it out again there. This helps you get rid of like rounded edges, because snow doesn't really have rounded edges. When you think about when you see snow, it piles in the middle, can be a big round pile, but then it will, toward the edge, it's spread out. And you can see there as I touch it over the plant, just little nice dabs, just like we're dry brushing. We can kind of spread it out. We get it looking like just it's some snow left on the edge there. And there we go. Some nice melting snow effect. Very simple, very easy. The more you spread it out, the more it will look like it's kind of blowing snow like that once it dries, right? Or like there's just a little bit left. Certainly you could cover almost the whole base with this if you wanted. If you were going for like, they're marching through a snowdrift or something. I would say if you're ever going to do that, make sure to put some plants or rocks or trees or something sticking up out of it, because your base is going to be really boring if you just do all snow. So I like it as a last step like this, kind of the melting snow in spring effect. With the coming of the spring means the coming of the beastmen. Arg. All right, so there you go. Hope you enjoyed that one. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these guys. We'll get them all snowy and ready to go. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope this helps you liven up some bases, and we'll see you next time.